go, let's go, come on. Let's go, let's get it. What's going on? How we are doing today? We are live. What's going on? So, today we got a lot to talk about. Just getting some things straightened out. Let me take this little time to acknowledge everybody that's basically in a room. Let me ask you, are you guys, can you guys hear me good inside of the chat? If you can, give me a one. Give me a one in the chat if you guys can hear me live. If you're watching this on repeat, you can put repeat. Just text me repeat if you guys can hear me. So today we're going to be talking in this topic. We're going to be talking about the 7 reasons you're not losing weight, and I'm going to teach you how to fix it because there's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of misguidance, even during this time, even in 2025. There's a lot of misguided information. Okay, I see me as a one in here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm also sending out some text messages, not text messages, but also posting and sending it to everybody. And the reason why I'm doing this is because this is a brand new channel. So I definitely want you guys to peep this. Let me know exactly, what type of topics you guys want to hear. We're in the building. We're definitely talking some good work. So I definitely want you guys to, hear everything and see exactly how we operate on here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're live. We're talking today about the topic of why it's hard for you to lose weight. The first reason, really, that I've seen people, right, that have issues. Number one is you don't really understand your body type, right? That is one of the biggest issues. And when you don't understand your body type, that is a real dishonor or disservice you're doing to your actual body because there's 3 different types of body types, right? There is endomorph, there's ectomorph, and there's mesomorph body types. This is really about not putting you in a box because you can naturally get out of that category. So ectomorph is a body type where you have issues with gaining weight. Endomorph body types is the body type where you have difficulties with losing weight. So if you have difficulties with losing weight, endomorph body type, that is more of the heavier body type. Mesomorph is the athletic body type. You can change your body type to any one of them. And if you look on, and this is the issue, biggest issue that I have with a lot of different, places because they like to debunk different types of researches and study. But I found how accurate and how important the body type for me is. I've always been able to look and see, like, okay, cool, this is where we are, this is where we need to go. Basic bottom line is we need to change your body from fat storage mode to fat burning mode. So once we can do that, that would basically help us, right? And here's the good news. You can change your body composition. Like I said, you can't change your bone structure, but you can absolutely change your body fat percentage and recomposition. And that will be determined on how much lean muscle you carry. And that is where the real transformation happens. Now, one of the things that I do with people that come to me from day one is I get their measurements. We do their measurements, right? Not just weight, but we measure the inches and we also measure and check body fat percentage. Why is this important? Because you can weigh the same but look completely different depending on how much muscle to fat ratio you have. Really, I want you to understand that muscle and fat both weigh the same. Body fat takes up more space in your body than muscle. So if you had a $100 bill in one pocket and 100 ones, $100 is $100. So I want you to understand that body fat, right, is totally different than muscle. Muscle is a lot more dense. And you can have regular muscle, which attracts fat, but lean muscle doesn't. So we want to build up lean muscle because an increase in lean muscle is an increase in your metabolism. So when you know your body fat percentage, you can go in the right direction. Now we have BMI, which is body mass index. That's a whole number. And I'm not saying that that is a bad number to go off of, but there are different measurements and there's different numbers for every single thing. I'm over here pouring myself something to drink, some water. But I want you to understand that when you find your body type, just Google images or take a quick quiz online or text me if you don't know what your body fat percentage is. 856-434-7265. I want you to focus on building muscle. And this is the key for all body types, right? Tracking your progress every single month, not just on the scale, right? And adjust your food base on your body type. So if you have BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, that means if you are 220 pounds and then you got down to 215, well, clearly we have to change your calories because, and there's plenty of different calorie calculators that are out there that are BMR calculators. So it determines your height, your weight, and your age, and it will tell you how many calories you have, and it'll give you a maintenance based off of the level of activity that you do. So it's important to really understand that point of view. Now, we got some people that's watching. I mean, we're brand spanking new. This is the second time I went live on here. Very, very important that you guys subscribe to the channel and also hit and tap that bell for the notifications. This way, you can be the first person to actually get up on what we got going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Right? So adjusting your food calorie base, that's what we're just talking about. Making sure that you are doing what you need to do so that we can change your body type from storing fat to easily reducing body fat, which is fat burning mode. So there's a combination, there's a lot of things that come in between that. And we have to make sure what type of body type you have first so we know what direction that you have to go in. You know, when we look at people that go to like a regular gym, right? A regular big box gym that you go to, there is definitely a total different type of exercise that you would have to do depending on what type of body type you have. So it's very important that you know what kind of body type you have. This way you know what type of success you can you can carry. If I'm dealing with someone that's really overweight, I'm not going to really focus so much on lifting weights. I'm going to focus the heck out of doing a lot of HIIT training, which is that high intensity interval training. You know what I'm saying? So very, very important that you know what you need to do. This way you can be successful in what it is that we have going on. So very, very important. Now, the next thing, number 2, after we finish locating what type of body fat, let's move on. So number 2, once we know how much body fat we truly have, what is the next one? The next one is knowing what is the difference between visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. A lot of people think that weight loss means success, but let me really, really, really break it down for you, right? Weight loss is not the same as fat loss. You can lose 10 pounds of muscle and still look the same or worse, right? Because if you lost muscle mass, which a lot of people do, and they think, oh yeah, I lost 20 pounds, they're typing it and posting it and putting it on there and thinking that they've lost this weight, but you really haven't. So I want you to understand that muscle and fat both weigh the same. So we have to know what the difference is. Now, getting back to this visceral fat. So viscera, which is literally behind your stomach, and subcutaneous, which is the layer beneath your skin. Subcutaneous fat is like under your arms, your thighs, your hips, those things. So when we look at what that is and what that entails, we have to locate subcutaneous fat. Subcutaneous fat is that thin layer fat, right? It's very soft. Visceral fat is more of the dangerous fat. That's the fat that's linked to diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides. So we have to know and understand how we're going to locate that fat. And a lot of people are focused on just dropping pounds, but not knowing the difference. We got to know exactly what that is. If you have a really big bloated stomach, we're talking insulin resistance, and we're going to get into the hormone thing in a second. But I want you to understand that you have to identify what the actual problem is in order to figure out what the solution is. And unfortunately, most big box gyms and doctors and people don't tell you about these specific things. They just say, hey, you need to lose weight. Well, what kind of weight? It's a very, very tricky topic, but they don't prepare you for that because they don't tell you, oh, well, you can lose muscle mass in the process of losing weight. You think you're doing all that you can. You think you're doing good work. You think you're doing the Lord's work, and not even understanding that you're losing muscle mass in that actual process. That is a shame. It's a huge, huge shame. So I want you guys to really understand that there is 100% a total difference when it comes to visceral fat and subcutaneous fat, and we have to know what the difference are. And really, you know, I really want you guys to understand that visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, those numbers is on the body fat percentage. That is on body fat percentage. We got to know that number. I want you guys to understand that that number right there is extremely important. When you look at the body fat percentage chart, you can say, okay, cool, I'm in this right direction. I'm not in this direction. I need to go right here. There is on the body fat percentage, you're looking at what? Different types of scales. Let me see if I can look up one. So body fat percentage chart. So when it comes to that, you can just look it up and figure out where you are. So this way you know exactly where you need to be. Let me show you real quick. So when we talk about this right here, let me put it in this one right here, right there. Okay, cool. So when we talk about body fat, right? And these are endomorph, mesomorph. So these are right here, the lower on the body fat percentage chart. I'm glad it showed that right here. So this is like built lean right here. So this right here is all three of these, actually all four of these, actually all six of these are this is, I would say, all of them are mesomorph body types. I don't really see a endomorph body type, right? I can see once we start getting on a little chunky side, this would be endomorph body type. But even this, it would still be, I don't even understand how this one looks bigger than this one. This is 30%. The 30% looks bigger than the 35%. That's crazy to me. But I just want you guys to see exactly what it is. This way you can locate it and you can see what it is. But look, I typically go off of the body fat percentage, right? Not really body mass index, because body mass index, it really doesn't show you. Let me get a little specific and find the one for the woman. Right here. So they got one for woman, they got one for man, right? So I like to see this right here. This is what I like to see. I like to see over fat. I like to see average. I like to see ideal, and I like to see lean, right? So knowing this body fat percentage, this right here is 100% success. This is how I know exactly where you are, where you need to be, and how we need to actually get there. For everybody that's in the chat, what's going on? You guys, love that you guys are in. I'm going to be going live periodically, you know what I'm saying, all the time. I'm back, you know. This is something that I've done plenty of times, and I started and I'm starting back again, and it's all good. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to understand that we are, you know, doing what we have to do in here. So make sure that you guys are subscribed to the actual channel. Make sure that you guys are following us, really understanding what we do here, because our goal is to make sure that you understand you have true knowledge. This way you can make the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? I want you to understand the importance of this. All right. So this right here, some people, you know, we find are even off the chart. We got to get to the ideal category if we're overweight. If we're in an average or ideal, we need to get to the lean, right? So when we talk about over fat, we're talking about endomorph body type. If you're in between average or ideal, you can possibly, you know, be a mesomorph body type, but you just need to lose some body fat. So that is, you know, definitely something that we need to do, and that's what we're going to put you in. We're going to put you in the right type of the right type of game. We're going to put you in a game. Okay, so this right here is going to give us exactly what we need. And this way we can be 100% successful. For those of you that are coming in, today we're talking about the 7 reasons why you're not losing weight. The first one we talked about is not identifying or understanding what your body type is. The second one we're talking about is locating visceral fat and subcutaneous fat. Okay, so we need to make sure that we are doing what we need to do in order to get towards our goals. Okay, so when we talk about really the takeaway from the visceral fat and subcutaneous fat is really understanding fat loss and not just weight loss. So don't ever say, "Oh, I just want to lose weight." No, we want to lose body fat, right? We're going to track body fat percentage, and we're going to do that every single month, right? Every single month, we're going to take your measurements. Now, they also have good technology out there where they have scales that have like a Garmin scale, but then the Garmin scale is a little bit too expensive. They some of these scales, these companies charge an astronomical amount for no reason, but they do have some cool features on there. Don't worry about the skeletal and water balance and all that stuff like that. That's cool stuff to know. Don't get me wrong. Like I like all of that. I love it. But some things are OD. We have a simple body fat handheld thing where you hold it and it tells us what your body fat percentage is. And truthfully, when we look at body fat percentage, the only way you can truly 100% know your body fat percentage is if you go inside of that pool, inside of that water, and it's something that you have to you know, do in order to determine that body fat percentage. I personally, I don't really subscribe to that. You know, not saying that that's not something. It's just some people just take things and they go overboard with it, and I don't think that we need to do all that, right? So we got to make sure that we know that right there. All right. So locating that, and that, with all that being said, the next thing, which is number 3. Number 3. Oh, let me read. Is it possible that they don't know the difference? It's something that needs to be taught in medical schools, but it's not. So says some doctors. Yeah. So they don't teach it because that takes away their bottom line. All diseases, I would say, are truly linked to the amount of body fat you have in your body. Let me say that again, right? Or let me say it in a different way. Body fat, right, holds toxins. So if you want to work on losing weight, we have to detoxify our bodies because fat cells hold toxins in it. So if you look at a person, right, you look at yourself and you say, "Oh man, I got this fat around me." What exactly is that? Your body holds on to toxins. So we have to work on basically getting you from point A to point B. Okay, so that right there is going to help us when it comes to getting our goals and how we need to do. And this is how we're going to be successful in life. Because when it comes to exercise, this is what we do. Very, very important when it comes to losing weight, or I should say waste. Okay. Now, when it comes to you, just in general, we have to work on building up lean muscle, right? Because an increase in lean muscle is an increase in metabolism. So, number three is you're not exercising consistently or effectively. A funny thing is, today I came back from Planet Fitness. Now, why was I at Planet Fitness? Because where I live, I was going to this other gym where I started off. I was going to Giant Fitness in Seoul. So Giant Fitness, before it was called Giant Fitness, it was called Active Fitness, and they just changed different owners. And owners have always had issues with the landlords. As gym owners, we constantly have issues with the landlords. The landlords are very, very funny. They'll try to raise prices, and they'll see like, oh, you got cars in a parking lot. Oh, they making money. Let me raise the prices and stuff. It literally makes zero sense. So I already can imagine what the conversation was like with the owner of Giant Fitness. So Giant Fitness was in Seoul. They were there for like maybe 5 or 6 years, I'm thinking. They I would go there because I liked it, because that's why I started off as being a personal trainer. It was like my humble beginnings. And I would go there, I'd work out, just put my headphones on. Some days I'd go there and I would have my members at my gym. So I'm not going to work out with my clients. I cannot go there for my sanity and my peace of mind. So I would go to a regular big box gyms. That's what we do, right? So for some reason, I don't know, in December, they I guess didn't agree on a lease, and they were given like 3 days in court to like vacate the premises. Like, could you imagine blowing out? Like they created a bunch of different spots, and I like Giant Fitness, and I know the owner. Um, he created Jersey Girls, which is funny because the gym is basically segregated now by gender. So they got males on one side, they got females on the other side. I don't really, I don't really necessarily. I understand why he did it. I'm not going to say I disagree. I understand why he did it because there are some funny creeps inside of the gym. I can't really speak for that because we have a huge vetting process in my gym. Unfortunately, a person coming in and paying $30 a month, any weirdo can basically come into the gym and be funny, whereas you got to come through me and we're talking for an hour, so I'm getting a chance to know you, to see if I literally work with you. So in in all essence, they did a good job. But the problem is a lot of females that go on the female side, which is called Jersey girls, they are clueless to know what they're doing. At least when they're on the man's side, some guys would see them. If I'm anywhere near, I'm correcting anybody. I don't care how it is in the gym. I'll go there to focus. But if I see somebody doing some rotator cuff looking tearing exercises, I'm going to stop them and be like, hey, don't do it this way, do it that way, and I'll just go back to my regular routine. But because I feel like it's my duty, you know what I'm saying, as a fitness professional, to make sure people are doing what they're supposed to do. But anyway, um I went there, and it's all about consistency, right? Because when they went out of business in that location, I got knocked off of my square. And that's something that happens to people. And I want you to understand that it's not necessarily your fault. Um, I want to really address one of the biggest myths in fitness, right? The idea of just working out is not enough to lose weight. The real truth is you have to incorporate diets, but you have to have a really good workout exercise regimen to produce real results. You understand? Because if you're not showing up, number one, consistently, and you're not doing the workouts strategically, then you don't have the right strategy, and you'll end up really, spinning the wheels and hitting a plateau. And then, it's like, hey, where do you go? Oh, I go to X, Y, and Z gym. You go there now? No, I don't go there because I didn't see results. Or you'll just make an excuse, or I just fell off. But I feel like it's the gym's, personal duty to teach you. I think everybody should have really a crash course on what they need to do, and working with a professional is really the standard. The gym is like a huge garage with with a bunch of tools in it. And if you're not a mechanic, then how are you going to know how to move those parts? They're putting real big, heavy machinery that can be potentially dangerous to you, and they're just like, hey, have at it. Sign this waiver and go about your business. So the first thing you do, because you don't know what you're doing, is you hit the cardio machines. And literally that cardio machine is going to make you burn out your muscle mass. So you think you're losing weight by stepping on the scale, and you're not. You're just losing muscle mass. You're not building muscle because you're not doing resistance training. Inconsistency, right, is the number one mistake. Let me get back to what I'm talking about. You guys know I got ADD, right? So inconsistency is one of the biggest issues. This is number 3 that we're talking about for everybody that just came in. So inconsistency is one of the biggest issues, right? You train for a week, you skip the next one, and you're talking about, oh, I work, or I got a double. No one cares, right? Your body surely doesn't, right? I get your sympathies of wanting me to understand or sympathize with it, but it's just not going to work. You have to figure out a way to push forward, right? And push hard and be consistent. At least 3 days minimum. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't really care. As long as you're able to get 3 good days out of the week, so that you can allow your body to recover. And if we're doing it back to back to back, like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which typically people don't, it's just all depends on your schedule. I know we have a lot of nurses that do that, 4 days on, 3 days off. So I'm talking to, like, for them, you know, if you got to do what you got to do, right? Especially you working around. It's not like you're just sedentary working around and walking around as a nurse. You're still doing work. So you're allowing your body to heal. But on your off days, if you're overweight, man, listen, we got to do what we got to do. But one of the biggest mistakes, and the reason why people are not getting towards their goals, is inconsistency. The next one is poor structure, right? So if your structure is poor, then you're not going to see the type of goals that you want to see. So I'm going to say that it's important for you to really understand what you need to do. Poor structure, right? Like I said, too much cardio, not enough resistance training. That is going to set you up for failure. And I don't want that to be your case. I want you to be able to know how to lift weights, and you being able to increase the reps and knowing exactly when you need to change up things. Because if you don't, then you're going to just plateau, and you're not going to lose fat. You're not going to lose fat. You're going to lose muscle mass in the process. And that's one of the biggest issues that most people have, unfortunately. So I want you to, get it how you live, when it comes to this exercise. And, that's it. We're going to do what we need to do. So, really, we follow a phase through strength training, and we start by getting the form down pat. We want to focus on form and making sure that you're doing correct exercises, and that you are improving. And I'm not saying never do cardio, but we don't have to do cardio on the days of our exercise. We can basically, break things down. And never, ever, ever go to the gym just to do cardio. Literally defeats the whole purpose. People do cardio just to, and I'm not singling out women, but I see a lot of women, and you're self-conscious because you don't know what you're doing. I see some guys on there too, just going hard on the cardio. We're breathing in crazy carbon air while we're working out. I mean, doing strength training, okay, I get it. But doing cardio, that type of aerobic exercise, no, no. We got to make sure that we're outside doing a cardiovascular endurance. So if you're jogging outside on a track or park or riding a bike, great. You're getting in real air, real oxygen. That is great. And make sure when you're running in a park. I mean, if you're in a city, like some of our clients are in the city, like Philadelphia, not a lot of parks. There are some parks, but I mean, you have to drive, in certain places, and it's not normal. If you got to just go outside and just walk, just walk. Okay. So we're making sure we're going to do what we're doing. Um, Number four is overeating or under eating without realizing it, right? This is one of the biggest major barriers to fat loss because eating the little tiny meals or not eating or eating a lot. Most of you are not eating a lot of food. That's gonna just really be an issue. When it comes to fat burning, we have to go into a calorie deficit. But the problem is that you're not getting enough calories in on a regular basis. And if you don't get enough calories in, what is going to happen? Your body's going to go into a calorie deficit. So we have to make sure that we're doing the proper things to eat so that we can be successful. And that's what it's all about. So the best way to do that is by tracking our calories. And don't say that you don't want to do that because it's very important. You got to know how to track your calories because people that track their calories actually have a 36% success rate. You have a 36% success rate more than someone else that's not. And that is really, really important, right? That's across the nation. Like people that track their calories while they're on a weight loss journey, when they're tracking it, they have a 36% higher success rate than someone else. And the reason why I guess it's 36 is because sometimes even when you track your calories, you still might eat some BS and you just stop on your diet. I'm talking about people that consistently are on their grind and eating the right type of foods. They have a higher chance because they're tracking it and they're knowing exactly what it is that they're doing. Really, really important. Number five is not getting enough sleep. Sleep is one of the most overlooked fat loss tools, but it's really, really critical because you have a hunger hormone, which is ghrelin, which spikes. You have a fullness hormone, which is leptin, which drops. You have a cortisol level, which basically increases your belly fat storage, which is your visceral fat, right? And your insulin sensitivity can worsen if you don't get enough sleep. I was just talking to some ladies that were telling me that they are only getting about 3 hours of sleep. My God, I feel sorry for you because me, nobody is getting in front of my sleep, right? I've been like that since a child. I'm going to sleep regardless of where I'm at. You guys know. You have for those that know me, right? I'm getting my sleep regardless of where I'm at. So you have to build up energy. And if you're not getting enough energy throughout the day, then you're not going to want to sleep at nighttime. So exercising, doing heavier endurance, working out, and that's it. Said, can I please elaborate more about what a calorie deficit is? Okay, so let me go back a little bit. So calorie deficit, right? Um, when you look at what your BMR is, if you're 200 pounds, you want to get to 180, then we have to look up what your actual your calorie deficit is. So if you are 200 pounds and we want to get to 170, let's say, okay, let's take 170. 170 times 10 is 1,700. That's your calories right there. That's how many calories you need to actually eat or store. You can put yourself in a 500 calorie deficit to increase it, but you have to also minimize adaptive thermogenesis and deactivate obesity rebound, which means you have to also make sure that your body fat I'm sorry, you got to make sure that your calories are constantly going from maintenance to deficit, because your body can get used to the calorie deficit. If you're in that calorie deficit for too long, then your body's just going to plateau to it and you're not going to lose weight. So for the first, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, you can stay in a calorie deficit, right? And then the next 2 weeks, you can go into calorie maintenance. Then you can switch it back to calorie deficit, then back to calorie maintenance, right? So anyway, let me get back to the sleep. Really important that um, every every time you are working out or on a journey of trying to lose body fat, you got to sleep better. Even one night of poor sleep can cause up to 20% reduction and insulin sensitivity, because many of you snack when you're up, which means your body is more likely to store fat even if you are eating the same meal, even if you're meal prepping. If you're not getting the right amount of sleep, listen, we're going to have some real issues, right? I want you guys to prioritize 7 to 9 hours of sleep. 7 to 9 hours. My God, you're not getting no 9 hours in, but let's say seven. Shut down all your screens 30 minutes before bed. Make everything just black. I like the sleep mask. I can't, I can't sleep without it. No caffeine after 1 p.m. Use magnesium or ashwagandha. We have some ashwagandha too, because stress can be affecting your sleep, right? And it's not just sleep isn't about resting. Like that's one of the biggest issues that people have. Sleep isn't about resting. Sleep is about really resetting your hormones, repairing your muscles, which helps you nevertheless balance your mood, balance your hormones. Those are really the most important things. So build a bedtime routine, just like how you want your children to go to sleep at a certain time, because you don't want them bouncing up and down. And at 7 o'clock, when it's time to get them up to go to school and they don't want to get out of school, you got to make them go to sleep. I got a 5 year old. I got a 6 year old. I'm sorry. My son's birthday was on Friday. I got a 6 year old and a 4 year old. So build yourself a bedtime routine just like you would do your kids, right? Ditch that late night snacking. Stop late night snacking, because that will interfere with your sleep and your digestion. When the sun goes down, stop eating. Unless if you are exercising, you're building up muscle, you're doing what you have to do. But if you have sleep issues, I don't have sleep issues, right? So understand, if you have some sleep issues, stop with the late night snacking, okay? And track your sleep quality. Get that app, the Aura app or the Sleep Cycle. Um, if you have an Apple Watch, check that out. If you have a Samsung watch, use that. Use all the resources and tools that you have. And see a doctor if you're 100% stressed and you need help. Talk to a doctor. I don't really look at sleep as just like a want. I look at it as like a need. Like, I need my sleep. You have to look at it like that. All right. Number 6 is stress. We were just talking about that. Stress doesn't affect your mind. It really affects your body type, your body composition. They've done studies on lab rats, and they've seen that putting them in a stressful environment basically increase their actual weight. When you're under constant stress due to work and family, that's it, your career and your family. One thing my wife teaches me is to protect my peace. I protect my peace at all costs. You got to protect your peace. Your job is just that. It's just a job. Your career is just a career. And if you're a professional who are the type of people that I speak to anyway, man, listen, you got to understand one thing. You can always find another place. You can always go to someone else. There is no type of loyalty that you need to be in a stressful environment, or a place where you're being undermined or not basically being paid your worth or whatever the case may be. You need to put yourself in a situation where you can be better and do better. Very simple. Unfortunately, we are not given the right ways of doing things, and it's a shame, right? Stress really can affect your mind, and it can affect everything else, right? Stress, if we go into the science of it, can increase your cortisol levels, which makes your abs, your abdominal fat storage, your visceral fat grow. You will put more fat in your stomach with cortisol, increases of cortisol levels. It reduces stress, reduces your building muscle capacity, stops you. Stress can also affect your thyroid hormones, which can slow your metabolism down, hypothyroidism. That is definitely something that we need to work on. We need to work on stress, and we need to get the willpower, because stress can destroy your willpower, which leads to binge eating and quitting workouts altogether. It can destroy your willpower. And one thing we do with our clients here is we do weekly check-ins to monitor stress levels. We have a accountability coaching call at 7 p.m. where anybody can basically jump on. We have a triage where anybody can reach out to the coaches. We'll have questions, anything. Utilize the tools, guys. Use the tools that are here at your disposal. Let's make sure that stress is not something that is basically bothering or getting in the way. Bottom line is, stress management is just as important as calorie management as well. If your body is always in fight or flight mode, it won't burn fat. It will hold on for survival. Now, stress, cortisol levels. Let's talk about some more hormones, because number 7 is your hormones really hold you hostage, right? And now that we've explained everything, right? We understand the body types, we understand the different types of fat, which is the visceral fat. We understand that not working out consistently is an issue. We understand that sleep is an issue. We understand not enough sleep is an issue. We understand that stress is an issue. This is one of the most overlooked things, which is your hormone, which is what's running the actual show. Your hormones, if they're out of whack, it doesn't matter how clean you eat or how hard you work out or how perfect your plan looks on paper. You will not lose fat if your hormones are out of check. They're out of whack. Your energy levels will crash, your cravings will skyrocket, and you will start feeling like your body is betraying you. But it's not betrayal, it's just simple biology, right? So I want to really break this down, this last one, right? Because there are really key hormones that either help you burn fat or block you from it. The first thing is ghrelin. Ghrelin is that hunger trigger, the hunger hormone. Yo, I'm hungry, feed me, right? Ghrelin spikes, right? And it tells your brain, listen, I need to eat. A lot of times we have bad bacteria, or we even have possible parasites. Your body can produce parasites without even having anything that is visible to you. If you have a dog that starts licking you in the face, boom, you got a parasite. You got cats that basically jump on your bed. You could possibly have a parasite. You eat meat, that's a parasite. You can get it from fruits that have a bunch of pesticides in it. This parasites that come over, you have to work on cleansing. But your hunger hormone, which is caused by your stomach, by your gut, by your first brain, which I believe is your first brain. Listen to me. That right there can be one of the biggest issues that you have. Ghrelin. Stress, lack of sleep, and extreme dieting all causes ghrelin, your hunger hormone, to skyrocket, which leads to intense cravings and overeatings. I want you to understand that. Now, leptin, which is the satiated hormone, this is the hormone which is opposite of your brain. It says, I'm full. This is produced by your fat cells. So, funny thing is, the more fat you have, the more leptin you produce. But see, here's the problem. When you are overweight for too long, your body becomes leptin resistant, which means that your brain stops listening to leptin signals and you feel hungry all the time, even if your body has enough stored fat to survive for months. So, leptin resistance is one of the biggest silent drivers to obesity. Many people have an abundance, right? An abundance of body fat cells. And insulin is the fat storage gatekeeper. Insulin controls how your body processes carbs and sugar. When insulin is working correctly, it moves glucose from the blood into your muscles and liver to be used for energy. Glucose stores or splits into two pyruvic acid, which is adenosine triphosphorus and phosphorus creatine. That's energy. Whatever can't be used gets stored as glycogen inside of your muscles. And whatever can't be used, which basically will be fat, that's fat storage, right? But when insulin is chronically high due to poor dieting, snacking, or eating all day, the first thing I ask people is, what time do you start eating? Oh, I'll eat at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning time when I'm going to school or work. 7, 8, 9 is way too early to eat. If listen, 7, 8, 9. Okay, then when do you have your snack or lunch? I'll have my lunch at 12 o'clock. Oh, I have my snack at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Then when I go home, I have my snack. I have my dinner at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, or it's way too many hours. This is why we have issues with our insulin. Your insulin levels are too high, you're going to gain weight. If your insulin levels are low and they're controlled, you're going to lose weight. Insulin it can be chronically high, and that comes from that eating all day. That's really where it comes from. And your body becomes insulin resistant. Just like you have leptin resistance, which means that your body is not signaling to your fat is not, your fat is signaling to your body, hey, I'm still hungry. Insulin resistant is a root cause also of prediabetes. Some people say that they're eating clean, but still gaining weight. You guys agree with me? Put that in the chat. We got some people that are watching. Tell me what you guys think about what I'm saying. So, insulin resistant is one of the root causes of why people gain weight. Cortisol, we talked about this a second ago, it's a stress hormone. But let me break it down some more. Cortisol is catabolic. Catabolic meaning eating. It breaks things down. That includes muscle tissue, which you need to keep your metabolism strong. Cortisol breaks down muscle tissue, which means if you're in a catabolic phase, that means your body is eating muscle, which means you can be working out and exercising and doing everything you want to do. But if you have high levels of cortisol, stress, your body can be eating off of the muscle instead of eating off of the fat. My God, this is why so many people go to the gym and don't see the results because they're stressed. They're poor conditions of the way that they're living. They're in a relationship where their spouse, their partner is not supportive of them, and they're constantly dealing with every single thing. You are managing the kids by yourself. You're doing this, you're doing that. You don't have the support. You got your work. You got drive, and you got to wake up early in the morning time to get here and do this. You got a meeting over here. You got reports that are basically due. You got jobs that don't even acknowledge you, pay you pennies. Yeah, all that can cause stress, and this can cause body fat. So cortisol is, if your cortisol is too high, too long, your body becomes fat storing machine. That's the bottom line. You hold more fat in your midsection, and your body starts breaking down muscles. And your sleep, forget about it. Your energy, forget about it. It's why you can't live without coffee. And your mood all day crash. It swings from this way to that way. And people really, really, they experience, people are suffering in silence because of this actual reason. The next one for men is testosterone. It's not just a male hormone, but this affects both men and women, right? In men, low testosterone leads to fat gain, muscle loss, low energy, um, real poor recovery, low sex drive. Is that it? Right? So, yeah, depression, irritability. So we have to get ourselves, men, on top of our game. If you're over 35, you are especially vulnerable to low testosterone, stress, poor sleep, and eating too much processed foods. Watch what you're eating. We got to work on that. Women, also with testosterone, this plays a crucial role as well, right? Even though you're getting it in smaller amounts, but testosterone, ladies, that helps you build up lean muscle. That's when you're doing legs, ladies, because ladies, women love doing legs. That helps. Doing legs helps you build up, both men and women. Legs helps you build up testosterone. It helps fat burning, and it regulates your mood and libido. So work on that balance of estrogen and progesterone. We got to work on that, ladies. So that is definitely something that we can actually do as well. All right. So that was number 7. I recommend, um, if you suspect a hormone issue, get a comprehensive lab work done. Get a blood panel. Some people I've just seen. I was just talking to some lady over the weekend that said that she went to a holistic doctor. A holistic doctor had her fill out some form, or fill out a form, and then sent her a bunch of supplements based off of that. Oh, this is how many supplements you have to do, and then you bought all this expensive supplements. That was a hustle if I didn't see one. Holistic doctors versus a regular doctor. A regular doctor is just going to give you medication. A holistic doctor is going to just give you a bunch of supplements. We have to work on fasting. Fasting is very, very important, right? So anyway, I recommend, like I said, getting a blood panel done. This way, you know exactly what's going on. Look out for symptoms. Again, like extreme fatigue, not being able to sleep, body fat that you just can't get off, low sex drive, all kind of mood swings going all about, and irregular cycles for you ladies too. Your cycles is all over the place. We have to work on that. So let's prioritize, like how I do. I work on gut health. Prioritize gut health, which is stress reduction and better sleep quality. Let's build through strategic fasting, like I have you ladies and gentlemen do with the 3-day fast, the dry fast, the 48-hour of water and tea fast. That is a good way to reset all of the hormones. And guess what? It's free. No one can tell you. It's free. It's wonderful. It's one of the best things since sliced bread. Do it. That is one of the things that we have to do. So, I really, really appreciate everybody for coming in. We are going to be going live, no doubt. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And it was really, really great talking to everybody. And I will see you guys soon.